further delay. In the start, I'll call meeting 1491 to order. At this time, I would like to welcome the online viewers and remind the public that our gallery is always open. In front of you is the agenda for meeting 1491. Are there any additions to the agenda? Hearing none, can I get a mover to accept? Moved by Councillor Langdon, seconded by Councillor Hines. Call for question. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. The minutes for meeting 1490 are presented. Are there any errors or omissions? Hearing none, can I get a mover?
So moved.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Jones, seconded by Councillor Hines. Call for question. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Moving on to correspondence, or sorry.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, are we going to take questions about previous minutes?
Business arising from the minutes. Item number 4.
I have a question there for planning.
Yep, go ahead.
Item number 14 in the planning agreement with the increase to the garage sizes. Just curious where the numbers came from. Why the increase of 30 square meters, and then for 4,000 square meters that we went up to 200. Just curious where those numbers came from.
Councillor Fitzgerald, Councillor Langdon here. I can comment on that one. So that was based on the recommendation of John Beard, our community planner. We had come across a particular situation where there's larger lots in town that were applying for a permit. And so we reviewed the application there and did believe that it was appropriate to add a larger occupancy on the larger lots in the community as well. So in consultation with John Beard, that was his recommendation.
Can I ask what his reasons were?
I don't. He's seen that it was adequate that the ask, given the size of the lot and the ask of the square footage of the property. I can provide you. I can get you a more in-depth reasoning from Mr. Beard on the file there as well.
Yeah, because I'm just curious why we're increasing our garage sizes to this size. I would move to rescind this number. It's 14 because council didn't really have enough time to have a chance to look at the exact reasons why we're only using 4.3% variance on our previous, and we moved to 5% on the 4,000 and greater. I think we're getting a little too crazy with our garages.
Yeah, sorry, you're cutting out there, Councillor Fitzgerald.
Oh, sorry, Chair. I just I was wondering if you would rescind item 14 of the previous minutes.
Yeah,
so we could have
I'm just
future time, a little bit more time to review this move.
Yeah.
I know we didn't want to go no larger because any larger than that it would be considered a commercial area, so we didn't want to go no larger than what he went to.
Yeah, but my biggest thing, Councillor Jones, is we went from 4.3 at 3,000 square meters, 4.3% on the garage sizes, to 5%. That's pretty big increase for sake of 1,000 square meters. I just think council needs more time to review this.
Can we rescind that? No, it's already passed, right?
As long as there's no.
Is it the chair of the committee that decides to rescind that, or is the mayor, or it's a previous motion?
No, it's up
To the chair.
to whoever made the motion to rescind it. But as of right now, as if there's any action taken on this motion, we can't rescind it. So I don't know if there's action taken on this motion or not.
Yeah, right now I prefer not to rescind it. We can certainly move on and potentially amend it in the future if there's adequate cause in there as well. But right now, I do believe, and I will make the comment there as well, Councillor Fitzgerald, the applicant that applied for the lot that kind of sparked this conversation, they still did not fall in compliance once we had this, once we changed the regulation. So if the indication there is that we changed for one resident, that's not the case either because they weren't approved after. But like I said, we can I don't think it's comfortable to rescind it there now, but we can certainly look at amending it if there's just cause for it. But I am happy with the one that was presented there by John Beard.
My biggest thing, Chair, is this is an amendment to our development regulations, which is an act of the provincial government. Are we moving with this through legal?
I do believe, is it, Jason maybe would comment more on that, is being moved through legal, Jason? Or were it just an amendment to the regulations and not?
Yeah, right now it's amendment to the regulation, so it's just in consultation with the town planner. So to add, so it's only to amend, it's not to actually change the regulation as a whole. So the answer regarding legal is no.
Yeah, so I think the best case here is, my recommendation is to continue with it, and we can look at amending if we see an agreed upon issue moving forth. Is that, how does that sound, Councillor Fitzgerald, or?
Obviously, I'm only one vote here, Chair.
Sorry.
So I'm not in agreement.
A little bit louder, Darren.
I wasn't, sorry, Lori. Obviously, I wouldn't be bringing it up if I was all for this. But once again, I apologize. I couldn't make last meeting. But I understand your point of view, Chair, and I will bring it to planning in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, no, and my concern there, Councillor Fitzgerald, is I'm not sure there's been any permits issued that have been in compliance with the new policy, where it was approved last council. Is that correct there, Clerk, that it would be?
I haven't seen anything come through that
Yeah,
would be
but is it,
approved.
would we be allowed to issue a permit from when it's passed through council, or does it have to be ratified again, where just an amendment? So hypothetically, somebody could have came in and applied since last council meeting
Well, if
under
it's
these new
amendment,
regulations.
we need to get the amendment back from John Baird, right? Like, that's an amendment to our regulations. So it'll be amendment, whatever number it is. Have we got anything back from him yet?
So typically what happens with an amendment is that we put forth a motion to actually have it presented, but then it may not be adopted. Typically, it's got to go, this would have to be advertised publicly for X amount of days, I'm going to say 7 days. And then once it's come back, there may be some public consultation that's involved in that. So even if we accepted an application, I'm under the impression we would not be able to approve the fourth tier, we'll say right now, until we've actually adopted that, because it's part of our development regulations.
this
So
is
anyone
just-
now
this
that
is
applied
just
for a
to-
larger garage, we might have to say your application will be pending the results of the due process that has to be followed for development regulations.
Yeah, but the due process will be based on their application of their accessory building, or the application of, or the process of amending our development regulations.
It's still in the process of amending.
Right.
It's not amended yet, it's in the process. So I'm not sure where you are in the process with John Baird.
No,
this.
we've only had the motion.
Right,
that
so it's
then
fair to
went
say,
forward.
as I said before, that nobody can have actually applied for a,
No.
No.
or would be able to apply for a
No,
permit
and
at
there's,
this time.
there's
because-
nothing in the minutes, I'll stand to be corrected, there's nothing in the minutes of the new meeting, 1491, that would fall under that criteria of the fourth tier of garages. So we won't be approving anything tonight for a larger garage that would be new, that would not be typically under our previous regulations.
Right, so clerk or manager, I'm not entirely familiar with the process in terms of enacting the new updated regulation, but do you have a suggestion on how you would recommend proceed here, or?
Well, right now, I mean, certainly we would have to reach out again to a town planner, because if we have councillors or members of the public that are bringing up any concerns, the adoption of the fourth tier may or may not be accepted. Therefore, any applications that come forward for a garage of this size would be held pending, the results of that.
Right, so the results of that, those were our concerns, as Councillor Fitzgerald brought up, that will be highlighted through the process
Yes.
of that, right? So Councillor Fitzgerald, are you okay with saying there's, this is the initial step, still when we go through the consultation of public advertising for this?
I'm fine with that, Chair. Just
Yeah.
there was no, like I said, I know that we.
Yeah, no, and pardon my
Just wait.
ignorance on the formalities of that as well, but we will follow up, and so there will be time for additional consultation on that before it gets enacted, is fair to say, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you,
Mayor.
Councillor Fitzgerald, for
Thanks,
highlighting
Chair.
that.
All right, is there any further business arising from the minutes? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. Is there any new business to present tonight? Hearing none, we shall move on to correspondence. In front of you, item number 1, MAA Board Update for your information. Item number 2, Department of Transportation Infrastructure Approval for Main Lift Station Tender for your information. And item number 3, Association of New Canadians Request for Support. The letter will be attached for council to read and get back to the town clerk. Moving on to reports, Councillor Langen, you're on the seat tonight. Finance, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Department of Finance met on May 7th, 2025. In attendance was myself, Councillor Langdon, the Chair, Councillor Freak, Town Clerk Laurie Humphrey, and Town Manager Jason Young. Item number 1, the Western Pump Services for $187,389.33 for the Spillway Lift Station Upgrade Capital Project. And every one of these items tonight, Mr. Mayor, are for recommended payment. Item number 2, Grainer Canada is $13,903.96. SCBA cylinders, it was a budgeted amount. Item number 3, Action Cap and Truck Accessories for $76.99.25. Fiberglass cap for one of our fleet trucks, and it was a budgeted amount. Item number 4, Humber River Golf Club for the $1,000 annual donation request, and we recommend payment. That's donation and sponsorship on the golf course for the year. Item number 5, the Deer Lake Food Bank, the $1,000 donation request that was recently added. I thank councillors for supporting that in the past. Item number 6, the Deer Lake Public Library for $300 for the 75th anniversary grant that was approved in the past, and we hope to present some more after our 75th anniversary gala. And item number 7, Egatuna Drafting and Consulting Company for $5,713.20, and that's for the White Road Storm Sewer upgrades. These are all, as I said, for recommended payer. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to accept these minutes.
All right, thank you, Councillor Langen. Moved by Councillor Langen, seconded by
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Jones. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. On to accounts payable. Councillor Langen, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Town of Deer Lake regular accounts payable for April 17, 2025. I make a motion to accept all payments for item 1 through 36.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Langen, seconded by Deputy Mayor Jones. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Councillor Langen, you're on the hot seat. Planning Committee.
So I must be the only one working here, Mr. Mayor, is it?
Corporate Services.
The Department of Community Planning and Corporate Services met on May 8, 2025, in attendance with myself, Councillor Langdon, and the Mayor, Michael Guzny, David Thomas, Public Works Director, and Krista Jones, Administrative Assistant. We had one new dwelling come in, and our total construction and permits so far for this year is another record-breaking $14,400,000. Another great year for Deer Lake. Item number 1 through 16 are permits already issued for information purposes as attached. And residential permit applications. Item number 17, the address of 17 Amanda Avenue requests a garage in front of the home on the waterfront property. As our regulations state, is at the discretion of council and may approve an accessory building closer to the street than the dwelling provides that council deems that the applicant has a legitimate reason to erect the accessory building closer to the street rather than the dwelling. Council has approved this discretionary use for those in the area and waterfront properties as well. We recommend to use council discretion and approve to advertise to allow garage in front of the home waterfront properties. So just to clarify, Mr. Mayor, that's a property that's on the water, and the garage would be located between the home and the street, which is quite common for waterfront properties in town. Item number 18 for 34 Grace Avenue. It's a duplex requesting a 10% variance for the rear yard. Recommend council discretion to approve for advertising for the variant. Item number 17, Classic Sparks Aesthetic and Nails on 23 Airport Avenue. It's a home-based business for facials, nails, wax, and pedicures. And advertising put out on May 12th with no response, so we recommend to approve. Item number 20. 6B Tux Lane. It's for a business for commercial property to home base. It was advertised and closed on May 12th as well with no response. The committee recommends approval. Item number 21, the Lighthouse Studio on 82 Nickersville Road. Nightly rentals will be open until 2026, undergoing a major reno, but wanted to advise us that they are looking to rent it out as a nightly rental in the area. We also advertised on May 13th, but we had no response to date. And other items, item number 22, amendment to allow additional units. Our committee is still working hard to hopefully push ahead with that to allow additional units, including garages on our property. Item number 23, maintenance and occupancy of property. I've attached for council's information the copy of the policy. In the coming weeks, the town manager, as part of the town's policy, will be serving cleanup and removal orders to properties in poor repair or who have accumulated garbage or refuse to clean up the premise there. And we want to remind everyone as well that it's spring cleanup there now, so our town workers are pretty lenient as well. And so if you need some help on your properties, don't hesitate to reach out, and the depot's open there as well. Item number 24, R&H Investments at 3 Airport Avenue. The new 6-unit apartment. Council has approved using discretion and advertised on May 3rd, and there was May 13th, and so the deadline is tomorrow. And item number 25, notice of transfer to property. So for that one, I'm going to remove that from the agenda there, clerk. Actually, no, I'd just like to update the current policy that we passed to change the start date to July 1st, if that's okay. As we spoke about earlier for item number 25, the notice of transfer of property ownership.
Yeah.
So I'd just like to change that to make an amendment to the current policy that we passed a couple meetings ago to change the start date to July 1st.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, that's all for the Department of Community Planning and Corporate Services.
All right, thank you. Moved by Councillor Langdon, seconded by Deputy Mayor Jones. Call for question.
I have a question, Mayor.
Go ahead.
With response to number 18 and the variance of the requested 10%, I'm struggling here with the permit. The permit is using meters and feet. I've done my math on this, and it seems like if I were to take their rear yards, they're looking for a variance of 42%. That's much more than the 10%. I'm struggling to approve any variance of that amount.
All right.
Yeah, Councillor Fitzgerald, I'm just looking at the permit there as well. It was my understanding with when we sat down with Mr. Thomas there, it was just a variance. And looking at the application there, are you speaking about to the drawings or?
No, there was actually no drawing actually in the permit. I'm looking at the dwelling size, which was done in feet, but then all of a sudden the frontage is indicated in meters. I do believe some of this is actually in feet and in meters, and if I look at the rear yardage of 12.5 meters, it's kind of defeating everything we have there. Well, no, I'm looking at 12.5 and I'm putting that into feet. And technically that would be 3.8 meters, which would be a 42% variance on our development regulations.
Yeah, the specifics of that there, Councillor Fitzgerald, sorry, I don't have David here with me or Krista, but let me just have another look at it there. So from my understanding, now don't quote me on it, that the property proponent was asking for the setbacks, for the rear yard. I do know when we looked at it, it was within the 10-foot compliance. When and I will admit that I didn't actually look at the meters and the feet and the permit when we were looking at it there. But if that's the case, if there's a discrepancy in that there, there is a discrepancy. I'm okay with pushing that there for clarification purposes. If it's in compliance of our variance, once we get clarification, do we have to wait for another meeting or?
I'll just chime in on that, and based on reviewing that, Councillor Fitzgerald is correct. It's showing that, you have frontage of 43 meters and a rear yard and right side of 39 meters, so there appears to be some discrepancy between the actual units. So, Councillor Langdon, you can certainly defer this for a future meeting to make sure we have clarity on the proper setbacks for front and rear yard.
Yeah, because I will say our permit does suggest that it be in meters and feet, and he complied with that, in meters, and he complied with that. You're right, there is a discrepancy between the two, so I'm okay with deferring that there, Councillor Fitzgerald. Thanks for bringing that up there.
Yeah, I just like that clarification,
Yeah.
Chair, just to make sure we know what we're voting.
No, for sure. And the conversation I had with David, I do believe that it's just a discrepancy and maybe an error on the application, because his interpretation of as well that the variant was certainly in compliance. So we'll certainly follow up with David there as well and defer that item. So, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to defer item number 18 there.
Can you make that amendment for, once you get clarification from staffing to clarify, I don't like getting in the way of building construction, and this is the season where everybody's starting to really pick up and ramp up. It sounds to me that, because I attended that meeting, it sounds to me from what staff had advised that they were up for recommend to approve. Councillor Fitzgerald feels that he's found a discrepancy, so once we find out if that discrepancy is fits within the parameters, are we okay to let this come back if we like?
If it's, I'm fine with it as long as it's within 10%. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, so I'd like to
That's
make a
my-
motion then pending clarification of the application that if it's in compliance of 10%, which is our policy for discretion, everybody is okay with accepting that?
Yeah, okay. Noted.
Just so we don't have to wait for the meeting. So pretty much it's pending approval of clarification of the application. Because I do believe that is just a discrepancy in the,
Because it could technically be grammatical error, and I wouldn't want to get into hold things up, but I guess to go through the process of advertisement. One question, Councillor Langan, item number 25. I just want to make sure that I'm not declared in conflict any which way. Council's wishes are okay. Correct?
Yeah, I'm correct with that.
So I'll speak to it just for one quick second. Can we, and I hate trying to get in the way of things, but I just want to make sure we do everything right. Can we have that updated with, from a professional from the board saying the recommended time rather than it being decided from a roundtable discussion? So I know in the conversation that we had with one of the professionals from the board, Councillor Langdon, that was the recommendation. I'd just like to have something like that in writing.
yeah, no problem. We can get that provided. And like I said, the verbal conversation suggested the change there, which was 10 years, so we can certainly get it in writing. I would wish to keep the July 1st effect date to ensure
Yeah,
that we
I'm
remain
quite
prudent
okay.
on the policy. So we will certainly get that there, Mr. Mayor, and provide that for the next council meeting.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you. Any further questions? All right, we have a mover, we have a seconder. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. Moving on to Public Works, Deputy Mayor Jones, it's off to you, sir.
Okay, we had a meeting on May the 7th, myself, Councilor Fitzgerald by phone, and Director of Public Works, Dave Thomas. The items are presented in front of you. Number one, paving we are looking at for this year. We're looking at doing a section of Main Street and a section of Farm Road. We recommend the Farm Road to be milled and paved, and the Main Street to be leveled and repaved, not milled. So we're looking at doing this, getting prices in June. So we're going to move on that, and we obviously will bring back the price and the quotes before we do any further recommendations. FYI for spring cleanup, number two, we had 341 drop-offs that were registered up to May 3rd. During curbside pickup, we encourage residents to continue to drop off as they are able to help speed up spring cleanup. Excuse me. Number three, for Reedville water rates, we recommend that we send a letter to Reedville immediately to inform that the water rates for 2026 will be increased to be the same as Deer Lake, and Deer Lake's water rates increase. As Deer Lake water rates increase, they will be given a 6-month notice that their water rates will increase to stay on par as the Deer Lake residents pay. And item number four, some of the trucks are doing having some paint peeling, so we're going to recommend that we have trucks painted to save them from rusting out. And we've got 2 prices from our local body shop. Normally it's 3, but we got 2 there. So we have 2 prices there, and this is within our Public Works budget. So I move that we accept the report from May the 7th, 2025.
All right, thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Jones, seconded by Councillor Hines. Call for question. Just got one. I think you might want to reword or amend. Will be increased to be the same as Deer Lake. Deer Lake water rates increase. I would recommend going into a new council. You don't know where their budget will sit in the event of an increase. I would put there just for wording.
Yeah, we can word it different, but all this said to put land
Yeah.
fire is dirty.
The note is definitely there. It's just, I think you have to cover yourself again for future councils in a budget. You don't know where or if they can remain the same, so just so it's
And that's
stated
why we
there.
also got a 6-month notice to give them ample time.
Yep, definitely. Okay, any other questions? Comments, concerns? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you. That concludes our meeting. Prior to, we'll do what we've done over the last year and a bit. We'll go round table. Councillor Hines, anything to add tonight?
No, I'll just let Councillor Langdon continue with his usual
Presentation.
information.
All right, Councillor Langdon.
Wonder if everyone likes to hear me speak just as much as me. No, I just a quick one, Mr. Mayor. 75th anniversary is coming up this Saturday. I think to incredible support for the business community and all those who have reached out there, and we look forward to seeing everyone. Congratulate our new Premier and thank Premier Fury for his time and dedication and service to Deer Lake. He will be remaining on as our MHA for the foreseeable future there as well. So office will operate as normal, but his time as Premier has come to an end as effective as Friday. So we thank him for all the work and commitment he's had to the residents and taxpayers of Deer Lake over the last number of years. I had a great time at M&L with myself, the mayor, Councillor Hancock, some staff were there as well. So always great to learn and connect and engage with fellow municipal leaders from across the province. And spring cleanup, great work being done. It was great to hear so many people are availing of the drop-off there. And want to remind everyone on the sites there as well of the times for curbside pickup, and remind everyone, as the mayor asked, to not put your stuff on the curb until it's the week of. So you can find all the information. I believe it's on our website, definitely on our Facebook page, and so just keep our streets nice and tidy.
All right, thank you. Deputy Mayor Jones.
No, I'm good, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Town Manager.
Just to chime in again on spring cleanup, you'll notice on the schedule now, we've gone through the drop-off window, we'll say, and actually this week, we're actually having our crew get back to regularly scheduled work, so we can get some potholes and get some other things done. Curbside will start after the long weekend, but we still encourage residents that if you want to drop off, to call the town office. Typically, we can arrange to have staff there to be in the yard at Gatehouse Road, because ultimately that's where what you put on the curb, where it's going to end up for the contractor to bring it to Western Waste Management. So please, if you have any questions, just reach out to us. We'll try to make it as streamlined as possible.
All right, thank you. I just want to touch, I guess, with spring officially here, a lot of work that's going to be done in our community that's planned that public aren't aware of. Stay tuned. There's lots of good things happening. I'd like to be able to pave every single street. Obviously, we can't. We have to stay within our parameters of our budget, but there's some good work planned coming up in the recreation side as well. And I'm safe to say that the annex will be opening sooner than later. We have some confirmation now. Stay tuned for a post from the town. The event for the 75th will be held at the annex, which I'm proud to say and see. And on that note, I want to put a shout out to the 75th Anniversary Committee for all their efforts, council members, their time put in, residents, and again, back to Councillor Langdon, all the sponsors that have stepped up within our community. I'm hoping it goes over really well, and I'm sure it will, with all the work put in. That being said, that's it for me. I could go on for hours and hours, but I guess one last thing, if anyone is watching tonight, you would most likely line yourself to probably have interest in running for one of these seats. The election is coming before you know it. This last 3.5 years, some days had felt like 25 years, but other days it feels like it's just been a flash. So by all means, the gallery is always open, as I've stated for the last 3.5 years. Some will say, why are you inviting in people to contest your seat? Well, I've always believed that the best people should sit here, and that comes out in elections. So again, I'm not sure who is running here around this seat, but I can commend every person for all their efforts that have been put forward, and to staff as well. We are far from perfect, but we strive to be every other day. That being said, it is now 8:06, and I shall call for a mover to adjourn. Moved by Deputy Mayor Jones. 8:07, this meeting is adjourned.